All right, are we live? Good morning, everybody. What's up, Ron? We've got a bunch of people. Misty's on. Good to have you guys on. Welcome to our session this morning. And I hope you had a great morning this morning. In fact, if you took what we talked about the last few days and you really began to build a new morning routine, I will tell you, having a morning routine is so important. If you look at top producers, in any endeavor, really, they always say they get up a little bit earlier than the rest of the people do. They have their water first with lemon in it, room temperature, have some coffee, go exercise, and then whatever puts you in that right mental frame of mind, I'll tell you, it's a game changer. And being a guy that really has a hard time falling asleep because my mind is always spinning, it's when you get up really early and you exercise, you have no problem falling asleep. So that's the key. Up your exercise, get some better sleep, and the wheel is spinning in the right direction. Today, what I'm going to talk to you about, and I think it's really important that we pour the foundation, because versus just handing people scripts, right? When you hand people scripts, they look at them and they analyze them, and they say all kinds of things. I don't know if I could say that, or why are those words the same way? Why is this there, right? And everything you do when you're in a listing presentation, everything that you do on the phone, everything you do with your children or your spouse, whatever the case may be, you've got to follow the sales process. And I think it's important to kind of walk through a couple quick things. Number one, phase one of the sales process is build rapport, right? We've all heard that before, we know, but sometimes you don't build enough rapport, and you read books that say, well, you got 7 minutes to build rapport. I don't know, I've been selling for an awfully long time, and most of my rapport exceeded 7 minutes. And the more rapport you have with people, the better they're gonna cooperate with the most important part of the sales process, the most misunderstood part of the sales process, the most skipped over part of the sales process is the qualify. The sale is made or lost in the qualify, period, end of story. The best people on the phones, the best salespeople in person are the ones that ask the right questions. So let's just cover the whole process and I'll come back to the qualify. Obviously, once the qualify is done, we have our presentation, right? And all you're doing is bridging the gap between where they are and where they want to go. So the presentation, right? The qualify does this. Where are you now? Where do you want to go? Presentation is you showing them how you can get there faster, better, stronger than anyone else, right? Close. And if you've done a really good job qualifying and then you've presented, you said you wanted these things, you want to go to point B, here's how I'm going to help get you there. They have clarity. And an unclear mind in the profession of sales always says no. And sometimes maybe means no, or most of the time maybe means no, right? At least that's what I tell my kids. So, and then after you close, you of course handle objections, right? And the better you get at qualifying and presenting, you really won't have a lot of objections after you close people. Because you've dotted their I's, crossed their T's, you provided clarity, you created urgency, you've defined their why, and you showed them exactly how to get there. So they don't have to say things to you like, we need to think about it. Because they said they wanted to go to point B. You showed them how you're going to get there. Talked to them about the cost, right? Or the investment, whatever the case may be. But most objection handling is just smoke screens, and you just got to reassure them. All right, so I want to really zero in on the qualify today because this is where most people fail. In sales, we allow prospects to immediately force us into the presentation. They slap their hands and say, all right, show me, what do you got? What can you do for me, right? Well, I've been in the real estate industry for 22 years and I want to show you this, right? Boom, boom, boom. And automatically you go from rapport to presenting. Because the prospect said, tell me what you got. We want to see, what do you think we can sell this house for? Or over the phone. Yeah, what can you do? Tell me about what you guys do, right? Or tell me how you can help me. So the qualify. the most misunderstood. It's an art. It really is. And here's why I want to cover this with you today. Because when we hand you this playbook and you're going through and you see in scripts, they're fantastic to be able to utilize, as I discussed yesterday, because you can actually read them until you've internalized them and get good at them, right? But no matter what happens in your profession, whether you're on the phone or you're in person, if you get stumped or they throw something at you or you're approaching any scenario that has to do with sales, if you simply remember the qualify, after building rapport, the qualify is really getting out the questions in terms of where are you now? So if you understand this process, you can literally in a couple of weeks sell anything. Where are you now? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it, right? What are your objectives, right? So in a listing presentation, where are you now? Why are you selling the house, right? We're gonna get their motivation. If they have an expired listings, right? Right now I see that your house is expired. Can you tell me a little bit about why it didn't sell in your opinion, right? That's where are you now? For sale by owner. I see, John, you have your for sale by owner. Is the house still up for sale? Have you contracted with a realtor at this point? That's a point A question. No. Great, and I have to assume that you're trying to sell your home on by yourself because you're looking to save on real estate commissions. Is that correct, right? Yes, that's point A. Okay, no problem, right? Where are you now? So if you think about that, you can really create masterful scripts yourself, right? If you really just try to think about what are the where are they now questions as it relates to this area of prospecting. A buyer lead comes in, right? Where are they now? What, right? Then where do you want to go? What are you looking for? What is point B? So go back to the for sale by owner. John, may I ask you, what is it that's having you sell your home? It looks like a beautiful home. Why are you selling? Right? Well, we're actually going to downsize because we just graduated our last child. Great. Do you have a place in mind that you'd like to go to? Do you plan on staying in the area or are you going to leave the area? Right? No, we're going to stay in the area. We want a small house. Do you have somebody working on that for you right now? No. Can you talk to me about what it is where you're looking to go? What is point B? I'll say that. What does point B look like for you guys, right? So when you do that, right, you create fallopian tubes. I'm just kidding. If you create a gap, which is a chasm between where you are now and where they want to go. I'm here, I want to go here, right? And the presentation is the bridge. But now the presentation is simple. But that's why you have to lock in the words, because you have to be really fluid, to really articulate with clarity and tie them down, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, to how you're going to get them there, right? And the qualify, not only do you have to ask them where are they now and where do they want to go, but the biggest question as it relates to point B is, of course, why? And that determines their emotional motivation. Do people buy or take action immediately based on logic or emotion, right? All people make decisions, now watch this, on emotion, and they justify their emotional decisions with logic. It doesn't make logical sense to spend more money on Michelin tires, but they put babies inside the tires on their commercials, cute babies, because they know that will drive emotion, so that you can justify your emotional decision to spend more money and buy Michelin tires. Logic is the money. Emotion is protecting your baby, right? So if you always think about that, now the emotional decision people make, right, is to either one, right, again, emotional decision people make is to gain a benefit, or two, to avoid a loss, right? So the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because when you look at the scripts that we create and provide for you, and that we're going to be role playing with you, when you look at the presentation and the listing presentation, you have to insert both the benefit, your benefit, things like your unique value proposition, your communication differentials, and everything you do, the benefits of you, which is pretty much most presentations, that's all I do is my benefits, our company benefits, right? But you have to also insert the avoid of loss, right? Avoid a loss. In the process of doing it by utilizing me and my unique value proposition, etc., you know, we want to avoid the situation where your house sits and gets stale, correct? So you'll want to utilize a real estate agent versus for sale by owner, and 91% convert from for sale by owner to listing with an agent because for sale by owners sell for, on average, of 15% less than a home that is sold by a real estate agent. Would you like to know the reasons why? Yes. Well, the things that matter is price, exposure, right? The marketing of the house, right? Terms, and the condition of the property, right? But when we talk about exposure, right now you just have this thing on Zillow and it's not getting in front of enough people. Do you currently have any offers? Have you had offers? Yes. Have they been good? What kind of offers have you gotten? Well, we got a really bad offer. We got an unqualified person who couldn't get a mortgage coming through here. Great. That is because you're not maximizing the amount of exposure and traffic. Does that make sense? Yes. Great. What do you think needs to happen for you to accomplish your goals and net the most amount of money, right? So I'm just giving you some examples that are in the scripts so that you understand that everything is designed to psychologically help them to really see, I'm here. What are you doing? You in the qualify, if you asked qualified questions, by the way, the art of the qualify is asking questions you know exactly what they're going to say in response to those questions, because when you do that, it enables you to design your phone scripts and meeting presentations around the answers to the questions that you ask that you know what the answers are going to be. So, for example, if I sit down with somebody in a listing presentation and went through the tour of the house, I led the tour of the house. We sat at the kitchen table, never the dining room table, and they said to me, you know, hey, so what do you got? What do you think we could sell this house for, right? I'm going to redirect that. John, I'll tell you what I'd like to do. I've prepared a couple questions I wanted to ask you in advance of that, answering that question, if I may. And within a few minutes, I'll know if I can help you. If I can, I'll show you how and why. And if I can, I'll tell you that too. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay, great. John, before we talk about commission and pricing of the house, etc., I just would like to ask you guys, you know, when you look at choosing a real estate agent, what would you say the 3 or 4 things that are most important to you in terms of the qualities and attributes of a real estate agent? They're going to say things like communication, and no matter what they say, it will always funnel into communication, right? Integrity and honesty, right? In their words. 3, I'll call it hustle, right? They want a real estate agent that's going to hustle, right? Assertive, a real assertive real estate agent. And 4 is a strong marketing plan, right? No matter what they say, it's going to come down into one of these 4 areas. So that's a sequencing question. You ask a question to help create. Right, okay, great. These are the things that you said you wanted, point A, right? So when you get that out of there, then you talk about the house as well. Talk to me about the good qualities of the house. What do you like about it? What do you like about the neighborhood? What are some of the shortfalls of the house? You know, what would you say that ideally, you know, in your new home, your next home, that you'd like to have that this house currently doesn't have? A big master closet, Pat. That's the one drawback of this house. Other than that, man, this is absolutely, okay, great. So you got them talking about the house, right? So again, point A. Then you say, John, before I talk about price, I would like to ask you guys a question before. And I prepared a couple different pricing suggestions based on your urgency. And based on the things you've already told me, I really understand what level of urgency you guys have. What would you like to see this house go for? In your brain, you have to have a number in your head that you think that this house is worth in the market today. Can you share with me what your number is before I pull out and kind of go over my pricing analysis? You know, and if you've done a good job at building rapport and qualifying, and you ask that in a genuine way, they may say, well, we'd like to see your numbers first. Now, you don't get that if you've built good rapport and you're asking great qualified questions, you ask it in a genuine way. However, even if you do, you just simply say, John and Mary, What's in my book is never going to change. I can't magically erase it and change that number based on what you're going to say. It's not a trap. It's not design. I just like to know what people feel, what they believe, because I try to get as close to that, and I want to understand where you're coming from with that number in your head, whether it's improvements, investments, or you got that idea from Zestimate, or wherever you got that number from. It's really important to have that conversation. Does that make sense? Yes. Great. What would you like to see? Well, we'd like to really, ideally, Pat, we'd like to get $400,000 for this house. Fantastic. Where does that number come from? You bought it 7 years ago for $300,000. Talk to me about the $100,000. Right? Well, neighbors down the street, 18 miles away, sold a house like ours for $400,000, right? So now you're starting to see that they're saying things that really are not making sense, and that they're not an expert at pricing. They're not an expert at the local market. They're not an expert. They went to Zestimates, right? So you can now educate them, right? So again, I'm just giving you guys examples, but when I talk to salespeople and they're like, no, you got to ask questions. You got to ask questions. I say no. You have to ask questions that trigger emotion. You have to ask the easy questions first. Talk to me about the house. What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? Then the next, talk to me about the qualities and the things you want from a real estate agent. And now you're getting really into the important stuff. Price, marketing, commission, etc. Now, how's that relate to lead conversion and phone selling? Well, when you're responding to a cold lead, you really kind of get to the point quick. So you kind of are building rapport throughout. And mostly after, right? So you got to be sharp, you got to be concise, and you got to get to the point. John, let's take a buyer lead that spent time on your property search functionality, right? And by the way, you got to call people within 5 minutes. That lead comes in, whether they're, again, a buyer from a property search campaign that you're running, or a lead that you purchased. Hey, John, this is Pat Fenton giving you a call. I see that you spent some time looking for a property in the Webster area. Do you have a quick minute? Yes. Great. Well, can you talk to me a little bit about that property? Would you like to see it today? Yeah, right. So you're just asking those questions. Where are they now, right? Right? Would you like to see it today? No, we were just looking at that particular property. Well, can you tell me ideally what you guys are looking for, right? Then you just keep doesn't it make sense? Drill down, right? And then you find out, you're drilling down on point B. What are you looking for? Where you want to get to? So you can start by asking the point B questions. Great, where are you now? Are you pre-qualified, right? Is the purchase of this home contingent on the sale of an existing home that you may have, right? You're just asking questions. Great. I'll tell you what I'd like to do. So once you ask those questions, I'd like to spend 15 or 20 minutes, get to actually put eyeballs and get belly to belly with you. So I can give you a full market research analysis, take this information you gave me, plug it into some really cool technology to make this whole process very easy and convenient for you. Do you have time later today at 6 o'clock, or would 4 o'clock be better for you guys? Or you start with earlier time. Would 4 o'clock work for you guys, or would 6 o'clock be better for you? Yeah, I have time. Great. Why would you like to get together? Well, there's a couple things I would like to share with you and show you, and the things I can't really cover on the phone. Is that okay with you? Yes. Great. Book the appointment and then build rapport. So anytime you're cold calling, you really kind of get to the point, right? You got to, and always have your UVPs ready. Because if they start balking or objection handling, your unique value proposition is that Billy Club you can always bring out on the phone and in person. For example, okay, Chad Madlom, Denver, Colorado, one of his unique value propositions is a 39-day guarantee. I will sell your house. He has it on radio. He has it on internet leads. He has it on his business cards. I mean, the 39-day guarantee, right? Well, Chad's not a dummy. He realizes that the average market is turning around in 26 days in his local market, that he can have a 39-day guarantee, but psychologically that really puts the consumer's mind at ease and provides them with some level of comfort, right? Because guarantee, or I work for free. So they promote that, right? And they get a lot of leads from that. 39-day guarantee. We'll sell your house inside of 39 days, or we'll work for free, right? Then people are like, great. We also have a performance guarantee, which means that if we don't communicate like we say we're going to, if we don't execute the marketing plan that we say we're going to do, you can get out of this contract at any time without any cost to you. Those are two of his unique value propositions, right? So, but they're really semantics, because when they get there, part of that 39-day guarantee And he'll cover this deep, deep, deep into the presentation. Chad won't cover it because he doesn't list houses or talk to buyers at all anymore. He's built a marketing engine. He's built a prospecting machine. And now he's a very successful team owner that he has listing and buyers agents work leads for. He's only like 42 years old. So he's built it really, really quick, scaled it really, really quick. And now he's a lead generating machine. That's his whole deal. So that's where we want to get most of you that are watching, if that is your goal, to actually get to the point where actually, you're building a business. You're not the hamster wheel, shaking the Etch-a-Sketch on January. You got to start all over again, right? That's where we're taking. That's a part of this whole process. So those are his two unique value. Part of that 39-day guarantee is once you actually get there, you're deep into that presentation, qualified, everything else, you explain that part of the 39-day guarantee is, number one, you have to have your house professionally staged. Number two, you have to agree on the fair market value of the price, right? So there's all these stipulations. If you're looking for those stipulations, if you want that document, I could be more than happy to have our people get that to you guys. But you know what that pretty much says, of course. I mean, those are the numbers, but they got in the door, right? And they will actually have them sign it. And if the consumer does it, and they will actually abide, but they'll get the house sold in 39 days, their marketing plan actually is a good marketing plan. Performance guarantee. These are things that mentally provide people with a level of comfort that most agents won't go in there and do. So why is it important? What I urge you all to do is spend some time today and really begin to think. Another unique value proposition that people do. I know the number one agent in Austin, Texas does it. I know there's an agent here in Rochester that does it very well. His name is Jeff Schofield. I will list your house, right? And I'll sell it or I'll buy it myself. So that, list with me or I'll buy it, right? And if it doesn't sell. So there's stipulations to that program as well. And what you'll find of these top agents is once they actually get there and they realize I'll buy it means, well, I'll buy it at wholesale, right? They're like, no. But if you've done a good job at building rapport, again, it got you in the door. It created a differential. And if you're really good and you shine, you're good with people, that's really all you need. Just get me in front of people. That's why I tell people that, especially when it comes to for sale by owners. I mean, you're going to hear it all the time. If you're working that list, which I think we're going to dive into this week, for sale by owners, what tools and resources to use, what's the script, and what are the rebuttals. We'll do, I think maybe tomorrow we'll start that. We'll cover things that can get you really business now. People that have already raised their hand, say I'm selling, low-hanging fruit, for sale by owners, XFSBOs, past clients, right? And then we'll cover buyer leads coming in, cold leads and referred leads, as well as seller. Okay, that'll be the progression for the next several calls. But for example, when I'm calling for sale by owners, I mean, they'll always have people that 95% of, 100% of them know at least 4 or 5 realtors in their network, right? Everybody knows realtors, right? So they may say things like, yeah, you're welcome to come by. If I say, John, Mary, this is Pat Fenton giving you a call. I see that your house is for sale. I am a real estate agent with XYZ Real Estate. I like to know all the houses that are in the market, not just the houses that are listed on the MLS. From time to time, I'll run across a buyer that actually, now if you have buyers, you can actually say, I have buyers that I work with that may be interested in your house. I would like to come and check out your house, spend a few minutes, take a quick tour, meet you, and see if it's something I can help you get sold. Do you have time later this afternoon at 3 o'clock, or would 6 be better, right? Yeah. I mean, you're more than welcome to come by, Pat. But if your goal is to convert me into listing, we have agents that we will work with in the case we don't sell it. That's fantastic, John. Not a big deal. Is 3 o'clock better for you or 6? Me personally. Now, if I'm not going to go the ISA route right now, but obviously if you're paying an ISA to do it, you want them to drill down and qualify a little bit harder than that for you, right? But I just know how for sale by owners work, right? They have all these walls up, and most of these consumers have no idea, or a lot of them don't even have a business sense. They really just don't understand the process because nobody's explained it to them. And I'm going to use that to my advantage when I show up and talk to a FSBO and I start peppering statistics that are daunting to that individual. I'm going to do a massive takeaway, walk away, follow up with that person, and open up the opportunity to do a listing presentation. So we'll walk you guys through that whole process. I think we'll start the FSBO tomorrow. Why? Because you can make those calls and get in front of people and convert. If 91% convert, why not do them, right? So some people say, oh, no, I'll never do that. That's beyond me, because I took my wife, by the way, who wanted to become a real estate agent this year. She had 5 kids, or she wants something outside of being a mom, which I completely understand. And so she got a real estate license. Never sold a thing in her entire life, by the way. And so she just knew I trained real estate agents. She goes, where do I start? I said, well, even before we go into our network, right? We have a very wealthy network. Before we do that, okay, what I'd like you to do is cold call for sale by owners and FSBOs, because if you can do that and form the habit, and you can get deals doing that, getting referrals from our past clients, or from our network and the people we know, is going to be so simple. I said, if the problem is if I start you with this, and you're just getting referrals and converting them, and you have an expectation that that's how business comes in, it just comes flying in from, right? That's all you got to do. There's no way I can help you to form the habit of doing the tougher things after you've created $100,000 in a very easy referral way. So I'd rather have you really understand the roll your sleeves up, raw salesmanship first. She goes, okay, what do I do? Now, she didn't know any better. She called FSBOs. Hey, John and Mary, she just followed the script, right? Got in front of, I think 85 to 90% of the people with a very simple script she ended up going to see, right? And I went on a couple calls with her. And lo and behold, I'm just sharing this story with you because, you know, when we go on those calls and we ask the point A and we look at the point B and we're talking to the homeowner, we really know very quickly their level of expertise and level of savviness in terms of their ability to sell this house, you know? How did you determine this price? And I would say, one appointment I went on with her, I said, how did you determine the price? Did you get some help from an agent? Or, yeah, I've got a friend that's an agent, right? Who's he or she with? Well, she's with Keller. Okay, fantastic. Why didn't you use her to sell this house? Just out of curiosity, right? So I just asked these point A questions. So when you begin to pepper in, well, John and Mary, you know, 91% of people convert to working with an agent. That is a statistic, but the other important statistic is that homes sold by an agent sell for an average of 15% more than for sale by owners. Would you be curious as to know why, right? So again, I'm not going to go into that whole presentation, but always, if you're stuck, if you're like, man, I saw this really cool script or presentation and you think you forget, always go back to, I know, where are you now? Where do they want to go? Where are you now? Where do you want to go? And why? And once you can create that gap, and you get out, here's exactly where I'm at, here's exactly where I want to go, and you do a thorough qualify. Now, the mistake a lot of people make is they'll say something here in the qualify, and the salesperson will jump out all over and start presenting. Oh no, you said you wanted this? Well, I actually have that. Let me show you. You wait, you're patiently, you get the full qualify. And then once you've done that, once you know, you've got what you need to make that sale today, in your brain, it is on. They're buying from you. They're signing that agreement today because they told you everything. You've seen and created this gap. You understand their why. You understand their motivation, and you know you can help them. And if you can, and if they don't cooperate in the qualify, and they don't do those things, and you can tell their walls are coming up and they're not answering questions, probably because you didn't build rapport. But if you do run in that situation where you did build good rapport and they're not cooperating in the qualify, what do? Most people go in the presentation mode, right? They get red in the face. You know, but for me, I always teach my students, I said, you wrap up your stuff, you fold your belongings, and you start to stand up. You say, John, I don't know the first clue whether or not how I can help you. I said, some of these questions that you're not answering, I need the answer to in the way I roll things out and the way I conduct my business is that prescription without diagnosis is malpractice in the medical industry. For me to recommend how I can help you right now, and I have the first clue where you're currently at, where do you want to go, and most importantly, why, what your motivation is, I can't recommend or show you how I can actually help you. So, well, thank you very much for bringing me in here. If something changes, I'll literally go and shake my hands. And those prospects will be like, so I'm taking the entire sale away. 99 if you're willing to walk out because they haven't qualified and you start to act like that, you'll find that 99.9% of those people will say, okay, and their physiology changes and you let them know, I'm in control of the sales process. And I don't need the money. Even if you do, you have to portray that. You have to be willing to not be attached to the outcome of that sales call. You have to look at yourself as the doctor, the attorney, right? That highly paid professional, right? So you don't want to prescribe anything unless you can get the right diagnosis. The diagnosis is where are you now, where do you want to go? And the beauty of selling, even in booking phone calls, when you do this every day, you already know what they're going to say. And that's why the objection handling is so very, very powerful to lock in. And then it just becomes a predictable, duplicatable thing. And you don't have call reluctance because you expect certain conversion numbers to happen. This is the practice. So there's two foundational things. One we covered yesterday, and then today we're covering really the understanding of the sales process, so that when we hand you scripts and dialogues, that you really understand how this is really all we're doing here. Where are you now? Where do you want to go? And I want to meet with you to show you how I can get you there. If it's the phone. In person, you're showing them there, all right? So I think that lays good foundation for the actual tactics and skills of the different marketing categories: expireds, FSBOs, past clients, buyers, sellers, whether it's referred or cold leads, and all the different areas of scripts that we've created for you to just go one by one. I'll have some help with me tomorrow because we'll actually be doing some live role play. So make sure you join us. I want to say hi to Ryan. I want to say hi to Wendy. What's up? Allie Gillette, good to have you on. Who else we have? Alejandro Martinez joined. Jose Luis Aguilar Jr. joined. Camelia Pana, good to have you guys. Happy Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day it is. Ron Houlihan, good to have you on, my Irish friend. And Misty Moffat, good to have you on. Guys, I really appreciate you spending a few minutes with me here today. And I hope you are getting value from this thing. We're really going to start ramping things up and really show you the experiential learning side. Tomorrow we're going to start role playing back and forth. So have a blessed day. Kick some butt today, guys. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you.